Welcome to teleSUR. We want to say hi to 200 countries, together with Diego Maradona in De la Mano del 10, with a very good guest with us.
It is a pleasure for me to introduce him because he's not only a president, he's a friend. With him, before he was the president, we went against George W. Bush with Olga in Mar del Plata, and he was in the train with me. He wasn't the president yet. Evo, thank you for being here with us. This is the second show de la Mano del 10. And it's a pleasure for us, for all of teleSUR, having you here, sitting here with us.
No, thank you very much, Diego. It is a very big pleasure to be here. I'm excited to be here, to be able to see you after a long time. Thank you very much for inviting me, for all of our memories. And not only all of the memories, but also everybody Bolivia remembers, and they are proud of you because of your support. And also to be able to give us the opportunity to play the football in high altitude. The Assembly of the Plurinational Assembly in Bolivia wants to recognize you for that huge struggle and fight that you had.
That is right. And I was very excited about the invitation. And we spoke with Victor Hugo. We spoke before that each one should defend its own land. They can't make me play in the Netherlands if I was born in Buenos Aires. I think that was crazy. And that's why I supported Bolivia. And I support you, President, today for everything that you're doing. Because this is a struggle of left wing and right wing. And those of us seeking for equality, or at least one for people to eat, then Evo is by our side. Is on the side of people that are going to eat. So those been thrown away by Brazil, those who impose things in Argentina like the Macri, then for me, the example is Evo Morales.
Thank you very much, Diego. I really want to tell you, for example, when we came into government in 2005, poverty was at 40%. We reduced it to 17% in 12 years. In 180 years of the Republic, they left us with $1,700 million in reserves, and now we have $11 billion in international reserves. In 180 years, we have $9.5 billion, and last year we have $37.8 billion. So we have been waiting for the 200th anniversary of the foundation of Bolivia, and we have a big desire to have at least 70 billion of our GDP in Bolivia and in other countries of America. Thanks to the struggle of the people, we have been able to become once again high.
And you have it, Evo, because before there were people stealing this. Or am I lying?
No, they used to loot everything.
Yes, they were sucking this.
The data after the nationalization of the hydrocarbons, in the neoliberal time, there were $2.5 billion. And in 12 years after nationalization, we have $35 billion of sales in petroleum.
How beautiful. I love it. I love it because
el hecho de llevarse el 78%
because having 78% of the profit and taking them away from Bolivia and giving Bolivia only the crumbs. No, you're in my land. You're stealing from my pocket. Why? Why? Because you're American? No. I'm Bolivian.
There is something very important to say, Evo. The companies stayed. They did not leave after the nationalization. They still are there, like they were before. together with the Bolivian Central of Workers, who are part of the social movements. As a director, I did something very important in Cochabamba. I came together with them in the negotiations. And we already established the nationalization of hydrocarbons. What were they saying to us? They say they are underneath the ground of Bolivians. And when they left, they no longer belong to Bolivians. And what they said is that at the wells that happens, then at the well is the companies obtained the right for that. And out of 100 Bolivian, 75% of them, then 82 out of 100 Bolivians left the country. $82 left the country.
18% for Bolivia. It's nonsense.
And then we were able to say, we don't want any type of owners. We don't want to have the looters of the owners. If you want to stay, then you have to work with 18%. 82% is going to remain for Bolivia as partners, not the owners of our natural resources. In 2006, 2007, we had a lot of hardships and we suffered, but I will never forget Nestor Kirchner. When we nationalized our resources, he said we are going to invest and we're going to safeguard the national hydrocarbon. Then he used to call me and said, listen to the press, listen to what they're saying. If they do not want to invest, I'm going to invest in Bolivia directly. We have to have a small commercial break, Diego, but allow me to give, in the name of all of the friends of teleSUR and all of the countries that are watching us, particularly in Latin America, that it is an absolute joy to be able to see you together. And we want to tell you that you two have played together, and you have done plenty of things at more than one time. We will be right back in teleSUR.
De la mano del 10.
Seguimos, Diego.
We want to return, Diego. Let's continue.
We continue with 200 countries. There were 73 yesterday, but we've grown today and we'll continue growing. Even more, if the president gives the hand, Evo, for all the world.
You have played together, right?
Yes, we've played together. Listen, I created my team and he had his own team. And my team said, please don't touch the president. And I told them, no, let's tackle the president. And there was one, you remember this one, right? So then he was able to feint with his body, and then I told Evo, you aren't only a president, are you? And we had a lot of fun. And I remember that we finished the game, and with Jaime Torres and all those who came from Buenos Aires, we went there to party, to celebrate, because we were allowing Bolivia to breathe. And it was very, very important for Evo. And I saw Evo, and I remembered my father's face. So I said, we can't fail. We can't fail, Evo. So I created my team, and I went to Bolivia to play. To play against the sanction of the FIFA of not allowing Bolivia to play in their own land.
And in Dialca, how do you remember him? How do you remember that encounter? And what meaning did you have in light of what happened now? Did it have then? Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on this fantastic show, De la Mano del 10. It is a fantastic initiative that you have had for a total audience. Diego, Victor Hugo. Yes, Diego is completely well known throughout the world, but the fact that he came with me to play with Alca when everybody was mobilized, up until that point we still were not friends. And starting from that point, we were friends, and I saw you give your press conference in Diego in Buenos Aires before the match, and I was surprised. His declarations and his words. not only because you are a football leader, but you are a political leader. He had a feeling towards the peoples, towards the poor people, the people who have been oppressed, who have been marginalized, who have been forgotten. And from that point on, I think that we have had some friendship, right?
Yes, a friendship, a friendship.
In February or March in 2005, I think.
2005.
And the people used to greet you.
It was really
They used to say, "Where's Diego? Where's Diego? When he's gonna come?"
beautiful.
Yes, it was beautiful. It guaranteed the dynamic of the people and of sovereign states. That experience with Diego. So thank you very much for accompanying with us.
No, thank you.
Not only Bolivia, but those who believe in their leaders.
Yes, it's what we were saying before. It seemed that we were winning that we were creating our own South America. And today, they want to put filth in the pitch with what's happening with Brazil, what's happening with Venezuela, what's happening with Argentina.
Talking about Venezuela, with regards to Chavez and the Alca, what happened in Mar del Plata, that's unforgettable, right?
Unforgettable, unforgettable. It started raining, and he said, blow thrice upwards, and the rain will stop. And we all... And then the sun rose. So you're not only a president, you're a magician.
What a huge memories that we have, right, Evo? Yes, they are fantastic memories that we are missing right now. We had Kirchner, we had Chavez, we had Lula, we had Correa, and I had the opportunity to talk with him this morning. And we do not feel abandoned at the moment. The people will be able to react. The people, the social movements are anti-imperialist in nature, and we are totally convinced about that. With cooperation, look at the polls in Mexico. We have a surprise in the first round of the elections in Colombia. The second and the third candidates were of a left-wing nature, and hopefully during the second round we will be able to do very well with our candidate that we have. And this is a democratic fight with principles, with values. And Diego, there is always people who want to be part of the people. And there are always small groups with plenty of ambitions, with exaggerated ambitions, with unjustifiable ambitions.
But how did they do to spend so much money after stealing it from the people? It will not fit in your drawer. All the money that you stole from the people, why do you give it to them? This is what I ask myself, Evo. How? How are there 100 families who live wonderfully? And 3 million. 3 million then in famine. Don't they have a heart? Don't they have blood? Don't they have a life? Because this is clear. It's clear with the strikes in Argentina, with the strikes in Brazil. So what you're saying is true. The people are tired of being manipulated from the top as if they were puppets. So now we have an opportunity.
And apart from that, how they privatize the services, the basic services. In my country, the public services are another right, and we will give the people the public services, water, free access to water, so it should belong to them and not to a private entity. It should be tended to for people such as water, like the telecommunications. How can we privatize those utilities?
Of course.
That's why they are people that are completely committed to every single one, to the people's struggles. But they also love football, and they both saw the World Cup. So we will take a very small break, and then we will start talking about football during the last part of our program. Right, Diego?
Yes, yes, we will continue for the 200 countries watching us and all the social networks. Call. You will have much more de la mano del 10.
They will tell 200 channels, particularly in Latin America, the beginning of the World Cup, Diego Maradona and President Evo Morales. Sir,
Evo, the floor is yours.
first of all, I am extremely surprised by the great organization. It has been impeccable. I want to greet President Putin for his fantastic work, for everybody's work,
That's true.
for them being so hospitable, for being so generous. I was walking down the street and they used to applaud me, full of Latin Americans, for Ecuadorians, Colombians, Panamanians, Peruvians, Argentinians. It was impressive.
Yes.
In reality, football is not only passion, but it is also the passion of the people.
That's right. That's right. The history was different before. We believed that the Russians were going to treat us, they were going to look down on us, but it's been the opposite. They're all nice, it's all respect, and each person is wearing their shirts, each one of them is respected, we're being applauded. When we walk by, as Eva mentioned, they even applaud us at the hotel. People request for your autograph, but they show incredible respect. And today, I think that Putin started the World Cup in a very good way, even though the game wasn't so good. But the beginning, the opening, and the participation of the Russians were beautiful.
But not only that, Russia is known as a country that does not play very much football.
That's
And they
true.
begin by winning 5-0. That has surprised me incredibly.
Listen, Evo, with the Soviet Union, you had to beat them. You had to beat them. With the Soviet Union, you remember this, Victor Hugo. There were 3 or 4 goals against the Soviet Union, but then, when the country is divided, then Russia is no longer a power. Russia won today because Saudi Arabia allowed them to score with through balls.
I think that the number 10, if the number 10 did not lead Argentina, that would also be the case in this World Cup.
Yeah, indeed.
We had Diego Maradona right on the goal line as well.
And I was pissed. And I asked, hey, what's happening? What's happening?
Yes, that was fantastic. And the match, how did it go? For me, it was a match, but I really enjoyed the 4th goal. I did not know what you thought was the best goal in a World Cup.
No, listen, I like the one where he took it with the left, and then 2 defenders went by, and then he hit it towards the first post.
And he scored with a spin on his kick.
Yeah, with a curve. If not, it was going to hit the post, because the ball went like this, and then it went in. But back to this, Evo. Today, Russia cannot be calm. First, Saudi Arabia just gave them all the midfield. They made mistakes in places where mistakes cannot be made. And also, when their back was against the goal. So the Russians, when their number 9 was injured in the counterattack, it was 3 against 2. And they were losing. So here you should be careful. So listen, I respect Juan Antonio Pizzi. He's a very good guy. But you also need to know how to hold the game and how to defend your team.
Well, tomorrow we have certain matches that are extremely interesting. What do you think about Spain and Portugal versus Portugal? I think that Spain made history. But I do not know what's happening in Spain right now. 1 week ago, they changed their president, and now they changed their manager in their national team.
That's the real change. That's the real change.
And Portugal with Ronaldo. Do you like Ronaldo? Yes, we admire him as a player, and we admire Portugal, but I think that Spain is a better team than Portugal. When you have seen the different matches, the different European leagues, you have Real Madrid, who was champion, in Barcelona. Sometimes they win as well, and the matches between Barcelona and Real Madrid are world classics. And what about Uruguay? Uruguay has their debut tomorrow.
Debut of Uruguay against Egypt tomorrow. If Uruguay plays like they should play against this team, the Egyptian team, I know about this, it's managed by Hector Cooper, then I think that Uruguay can get a very good advantage.
We're going to talk about the Latin American countries, Evo. I think they're going to be able to fight strongly.
Against Iceland, Argentina against
Argentina
Iceland.
against Iceland. Hopefully,
We shouldn't be kept cold.
Iceland has like 350,000 inhabitants in their countries in the World Cup, and we question that. We think that that's interesting. With 11 million inhabitants, we cannot go to the World Cup in Bolivia, but Iceland can with 250,000 or 400,000 inhabitants.
Yeah, that's right. So they have a lot of merit here.
Yes, but when Bolivia will come to a World Cup? Yes, we have plenty of hope. We are still missing something. We're missing that little spark in order to be able to change the democratic, the political record, the economic, the social records, but we have to beat football records. We have 1 more minute, Diego, for the closure, Diego, for your closure.
Listen, so to close and addressing all the viewers, having Evo here and speaking one-on-one with a president who defends his people, this is something that fills my heart with joy, because as I said, 6 years ago I've been living in Dubai, but I always see how Evo defends his people, and this is the greatest thing that someone can do. His heart is bigger than his chest.
Evo Morales is a president, and he really shows emotion. Thank you very much for inviting me. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with you. With Diego, I am extremely happy. We are friends. We will be friends for life.
Unconditional friends.
Thank you very much for this. So we're going to see each other tomorrow, Diego.
See you tomorrow. Bye. De la mano del 10.
Hello. How are you doing, Maradona?
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you, President? It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming to our program. Thank you very much. No, thank you very much for inviting me. When are we going to play again?
Whenever you want to. My knees are fine today. Ready to play.
And now we're in the World Cup.
It started finally. Today we have Evo. I was telling the guys that I've never seen a president playing in a football pitch. Usually,
Yes, absolutely.
every time
Yes,
there's
absolutely,
a
especially
player
for
in
the
the
whole
stadium,
America.
he's whistled at. Today, no one whistled. I would love to. And he told me this, to one day try to get Bolivia to a World Cup. And I'm telling this.
No, thank you very much and welcome. Please try. Thank you very much.
I really care for you.
Thank you very much, President.
Let's give it up for the president.